I'm live. That was easy. Holy shit. I think I can swear because I marked it not safe for kids. We had a freaking doozy of a night Saturday. 48 hours later. I'm still not recovered. I gotta be honest, I don't know what the rules of YouTube are. I like to keep up with the AMC traders and the stock traders who day trade. I think it's super interesting, pretty fun. So those guys, who watch AMC, GME, present a lot of useful knowledge. So it's like a Q&A format type thing. And I just, I love it, but they keep getting booted off for some reason. So this is my first YouTube stream. My name is Bill from the Chicagoland area. What I do is I place bets on UFC fights, UFC events. So I just wanted to hop on here. I was doing it all on Twitch, but there were some things I didn't care for about Twitch. There wasn't any ability to interact with the channel once the videos had been posted. I had 5 followers too. So I'm just getting started off. I started this year. Actually pretty inspired by all those day traders that started up their streams this year. This is something I'm super passionate about. I love the UFC. I have to watch every event. It's just something I really enjoy. But like I said, Saturday, it's a rough time. I don't know if this is allowed. I'm 29, so I don't care. I'm a grown-ass man in my house. I'm going to fucking have a beer, especially after I lost a little bit of money. So typically I like to start the shows around 7 o'clock. On Fridays, that's when I kind of submit my official picks. I really like doing it on Fridays because you get to see weigh-ins. You get to kind of see how the body language, the physical presentation of the fighters, and I think that's hugely beneficial, especially going into those coin flip fights where you just don't know who you're going to pick. I think it's hugely beneficial to have that moment to look at them without the shirt on, see how they behave. Sometimes these fighters, they're wiped out. It's hard to cut weight, especially to the degree that some of them do. So yeah, really, that's when I submit my official picks, is typically on Friday. I'll try and do it around 7 o'clock. I'm pretty bad at being prompt and timely, but this is something I want to do. So I think it's important for me to get on a schedule. Maybe I'll push it back to 8 just to make it more manageable. I work in sales out here. I'm going to just tell you a little bit about myself. I work in sales in the Chicagoland area. Love music, love video games, love to golf. You see that? That's my golf ball collection over there. I'll show it off sometime. Like sports memorabilia, like trading stocks. I got a bunch of different interests, to be true about it. I definitely think that the show will veer off topic occasionally, simply because I tend to be all over the place. So, without further ado, welcome to KO Bets. Happy to have you, happy to entertain you. We've got 0 viewers right now, but that's how I like it, truthfully. No, I want viewers, but you got to present it like, this is the condition I thrive under, So I'm just talking to myself, which is a little trippy. Without further ado, let's get right into the show. I got to finish up before my girlfriend gets home. UFC Fight Night, Sandhagen versus Dillashaw recap show. I don't really know how to navigate YouTube quite yet. I'm just looking at some of this stuff, like, how do I share my screen? How do I do all that? Truthfully, I don't know. I'd love to pull up UFC.com and really pull up the stats. It seems like Twitch is a little more intuitive when it comes to that type of layout. Yeah, I'm looking at this. There's like 4 buttons. So, fuck it. Let's go. So, like I said, it's kind of a rough night. Ended up 5-6, which is real bad. Just to put it in perspective, I think since the Gain versus Volkanovski fight, I think I've gotten like 2 predictions wrong. So, they're not always the most confident prediction, and you got to understand a lot of it has to do with luck. A lot of it has to do with how the fights play out, as we saw this Saturday. It was just there's no other way about it. I do enjoy watching, a lot of content leading up to the fights and, kind of gauging other people's interests. But I find that, like, if I kind of make my picks and then maybe cross-reference those with other people's opinions, it usually works out better. I've got at least one example on here, that I'll definitely share with you for my boy Danny Elkins. Darren Elkins. Why did I call him Danny? Called him my boy, then I didn't know his name. It's pretty bad. All right, let's just get into the fights. Diana Belbita against Hannah Goldie. Belbita ended up winning the fight. That was our pick. We actually liked the bet to go the distance at -280. I liked Belbita by decision as a prop bet option at +150 odds, but you could have gotten her at -115 odds. It was basically a pick 'em with Hannah Goldie. Honestly, you knew Hannah, the longer the fight went on, she just wasn't going to be able to keep up or hang with Belbita. So that ended up happening, playing out perfectly. In the next fight, we had Sahara Eubanks against Elise Reed. We went with Eubanks on here at -380. I did find the odds appealing for Elise, I'm not going to lie. But clearly, Eubanks is a pretty good fighter. I mean, she's fought a lot of talented opponents, but I definitely underestimated her ability to knock out Elise Reed. I didn't know if it was going to happen. I think Elise Reed is a really promising prospect from the film tape I watched. She's, maybe not so refined, but she's got decent power in her hand. She's got some wrestling. She just, I was anticipating her to put up maybe a little better performance. And so I thought there might be some value there, but she just went up against an absolute freight train in Sahara Eubanks. Eubanks ends up KOing her in round 1. So don't let the record fool you. She is super skilled, great fighter. In the next bout, we had Julio Arce winning over Andre Ewell. That's what we picked. We got the round 2 KO. Definitely, I bet on the fight not to go the distance at +150 odds, which was an improvement over the -200 odds. So as I'm saying these little prop bets that I throw out there, always in my shows on Friday, I'm always going to point out prop bets, parlays, just something that makes sense, for the style of the fight. A lot of times it's a fight, at one punch could win it for either guy, either girl, but at the end of the day, it is sometimes easier to predict the result of the fight. Like, you know this is going to end in a knockout. And that's how I felt about Julio Arce. Andre Ewell, I believe all of his UFC wins have come via split decision. Really was confident in Arce to win the bout. His 2 losses have been split decision losses. So, definitely really liked him. I also had as a prop bet opportunity, Arce, I did notice in his historical record, he does have some submission wins. Fighting a boxer, I thought that's maybe where the fight would go, but it still worked out really well. So I nominated another prop bet, which was Arce to win via TKO, KO, DQ, or submission, and you got plus 250 odds on that. So look at me. I'm starting off the night 3-0. I'm feeling great. I'm feeling amazing. Maybe start celebrating a little too early. Next fucking Mickey Gall against Jordan Wilkins was the next bout. I'm not a huge Mickey fan. I think he's taken some really bad losses in the UFC. Mike Perry, Diego Sanchez, Randy Brown. He gets the submission win, round 1. He rocked Jordan Wilkins in round 1. Mickey Gall hasn't displayed great power, I don't think, in any of his fights. So the fact that he rocked Wilkins, had him stumbling, and you could tell he was hurt. Yeah, that was surprising. I'm not going to lie. So in retrospect, I picked Jordan Williams, by the way. In retrospect, I definitely liked Jordan Williams to TKO Mickey Gall. If Mickey Gall was going to win the fight, I thought he was going to win via submission. I think I let my hate of Mickey Gall just cloud my judgment. The safe pick here would have been, does the fight go the distance? No, you could have gotten minus 165 odds there. Excuse me. I just ate a chicken parm. Anyways, I also nominated a prop bet for Williams to win via KO, TKO, or DQ at plus 175 odds. Yeah, I don't know what to say here. Good fight, Mickey Gall. Congrats on stunning him. Congrats on him shooting the takedown. Congrats on getting his back and choking him out. It's MMA. You got to be well-rounded. You can't just be one-dimensional. You can't just be a striker. You got to have to, if that's what you're going to be, you got to have takedown defense. And, Williams was just not... It's almost like he just needed he didn't take Mickey's stand-up game seriously, and he got cracked. I don't know what to say. And getting cracked like that early in a round, I think that's probably one of the more difficult things to overcome as a fighter. It's getting cracked early. There's not a whole lot of guys that, get put on their butt or get wobbled and then can go another 2 rounds, 4 rounds, or whatever. So, especially for a young fighter, it was just, he took that big shot early. You guys hear my cat? He took that big shot early, and then from there, he just couldn't recover. Don't you think that's what happened? What do you think? Who'd you have? He's pissed too. Unreal. But congrats to Mickey. Seriously, good performance. We'll just let him sit there. He looks kind of majestic right now. He curls his tail in front of his front paws that are sitting down. He's a sweetheart. His name is Benjamin. Benny. He's got a sister named Jet. Benny and the Jets. We call him Bean, though. I don't know. You do dumb stuff with pets. You call them stupid shit. So, in the next fight here, we had Nasruddin Imavov against Ian Heinisch. Lost this one too. Definitely thought Ian Heinisch would win this one. Thought he would do it via decision. Nasruddin ended up getting the round 2 TKO. Surprising. I thought he was, a wrestler from Russia. And I know a lot of these guys know how to throw a strike and possess power. I just thought that's where maybe Ian Heinisch would accelerate a little bit, getting him in the clinch, pushing him on the fence, making the fight real dirty, making the fight his style fight. And he just got outclassed, in my opinion. So, nominated the Ian Heinisch decision win at plus 130. Obviously, that didn't happen. So, yeah. And by the way, congrats if your fighter won. I mean, this is probably, we'll do the next fight, then we'll get to the main card, and I'll leave a brief message. But in our next fight, we had Punahele Soriano. I don't know how to pronounce his first name, but he was fighting Brendan Allen. Soriano came in 8-0, great prospect, but he definitely comes out of the gate strong. I think in his 8 wins, 7 of them have ended in the first round. So I picked Brandon Allen. Kind of thought if he would get out of that first round, he would have a lot of success in this fight and end up winning it, most likely via decision, depending on how gassed, Soriano was at the end of the third. Ended up getting the unanimous decision win, which was bloody fantastic. To be frank, I don't know if I nominated a prop bet for this fight. Probably should have. I just don't have notes on it. So if you want, you could check out my Twitch channel, and if you want to double check my work and what I'm saying here. At the very least, if I'm a fucking shitty bettor, you can say at least he's honest, right? Because, the teacher gave back my report card and on my picks, and it came back real bad. F-. You suck. Be better. Pun intended. What an asshole. Now we're on the main card, and before we go on the main card, I typically don't bet a lot of money when I'm betting guys. And I don't think just because you bet a lot of money, that's like a good indication that you're a good bettor. I mean, talk to Charles Barkley, talk to Floyd Mayweather. They love to post, Charles doesn't. Charles is a cool guy. But Floyd loves to post his winning ticket to social media. I'm sure he loses 3 to 4 times as much money betting. But it's social media, so you can do and say and present yourself however you want. Right? It's cool. And now I'm doing like a live vlog. So I'm talking like professional fighting and stuff. I'm like 140 pounds, soaking wet. So if you're bigger than me, like, you're probably going to beat my ass. If you're smaller than me, you're still probably going to beat my ass. Like, I took Aikido and Jiu-Jitsu growing up till I was 13 years old. Then started high school, To be frank, I dedicated a lot of time to that growing up, along with piano lessons. That by the time I had a chance in high school and my mom gave me the option, like, hey, do you want to keep doing this or do you want to, do high school extracurricular activities? I jumped all over the opportunity to do high school sports. So, really, wish I would have stuck with it. Maybe I'll get back into it. I consistently am looking up prices and stuff for different gyms and studios, and it'd be fun to definitely get back into martial arts. It's a great workout. What I miss most about it is the flexibility that it provided my body. I could do like the splits and stuff, and now I'm just losing a lot of my flexibility with age. So, I think it's super healthy, helps with if you have any health issues. You're not going to show up to a studio and just get your ass beat unless you deserve to. Most places, if this is something that interests you, fighting or learning about fighting or learning a technique of martial arts, I definitely encourage you to do it. It was, in retrospect, it was some of the most amazing stuff I've ever been through. It taught me discipline before I even knew what discipline was. Taught me about self-confidence. I mean, taught me how to overcome failure. Just breaking a board, you'd hurt your hand. You'd hurt your hand again. You'd hurt it again. All of a sudden it would give. And it felt like you just punched through a piece of paper. It was incredible. So I definitely encourage like young people especially. Check it out. Check it out. At the very least, you'll walk away with some tremendous self-defense knowledge, and you can be confident out there. Back to the main card. We had Adrian Yannis against Randy Costa. Picked Adrian in this fight. Definitely did not like the fight to go the distance. So for it to not go the distance, it was minus 280 odds. I like the Yannis via KO, TKO, DQ, or submission at minus 135 odds. That was a little bit of an improvement over the minus 225 odds. I thought Adrian just kind of had an advantage in all facets of this fight. Randy Costa is a good prospect, but Adrian's, he's a really nice fighter. He's a good-looking fighter. In the next fight, this one was tough. I took Miranda Maverick. She was fighting Macy Barber. Miranda Maverick, in my opinion, won 2 rounds. And Macy Barber did not have a 10-8 third round. So the fact that Macy Barber won a split decision, like, whatever. It happens sometimes in the UFC, but, I felt like there were maybe, you could argue, like 3 fights that went to the judges where people felt like something wrong was done. I don't know what the judges were watching. I don't know what their credentials are. I don't know much about that, but they gotta, it goes both ways. If you don't want it to go to the judges, get the fight over with inside, the distance. But, sometimes it doesn't work out that way. And it's just pretty common. It hasn't been too bad lately. Well, I should say it hasn't swung out of favor with my position, my betting position, lately, like probably for the last month or 2. But I think it does, it happens in the sport. So Macy Barber won. She was coming off of 2 losses in the UFC. She's obviously super highly touted coming into the promotion. Had a lot of success early and then kind of ran into some buzzsaws. I thought if she was going to win, she was going to do it via KO, but ends up getting the split decision win. Good for her. I don't know. I nominated Maverick as for a decision win at plus 110 odds. A little bit of an improvement over the minus 150 odds. If you had Macy Barber, congrats. It's not how I would have scored it, but I'm not a judge, so it happens. In the next bout, we had Darren Elkins versus Derek Minor. I thought these two fighters were pretty similar, like as far as their approach and profile. Elkins versus Mirsad Bektik. If you get a chance, YouTube it. Mirsadbektic. Mirsad Bektik versus Darren Elkins. Look up that fight. You'll love Darren after that. That's probably one of my top 10 favorite fights of all time. I mean, I thought Derek was going to go in there and just kind of like do all the things that, I thought, I'll use their last names because they're so similar. I thought Minor was going to go in there and kind of do all the things that Darren Elkins does, but he'd do them a little bit better. What ended up happening was he got tired. He's got a fucking shit gas tank. He's like a Honda. No, not a Honda, a Hummer, and he's guzzling all his gas on the first lap around the track. And then in round 2, he just gets KO'd. Do not sleep on Darren Elkins ever. He's amazing. He's incredible. He's bloodied up again after this fight, and he gets the KO win. Like, if you like that Chris Moitino who fought Sugar Show a couple weeks ago, I think it was. If you like Nate Diaz, if you like just zombies that just persistently push forward in fights, and they're like bleeding. If you like TJ Dillashaw, if you like that kind of fight, look up some Darren Elkins shit. He's not the most skilled fighter, but when it comes to heart in the octagon, the dude's got a ton of it, and he never gives up. He never gives up, and I love him as a fighter for that. So, out of all the fights that I had to pick wrong, that's probably the one I'm happiest about. Big Darren Elkins fan. And he was coming off of... Oh, no, he won his last fight. But prior to that, he was on a 4-fight losing streak. So it's definitely good to see him, start up a new streak here. In the next bout, we had... Jesus Christ. I'm looking at all this stuff and fuck. So I was just looking because I'm like, shit, I got a lot of these wrong in a low. Speaking of losing streaks, I mean, after going 3-0, I got 2 fights right. Like I said, finished the night 5-6. So, in this next fight, Kyler Phillips against Rulian Paiva. Paiva won via majority decision. This one was weird because I had Kyler Phillips again winning a couple rounds. Then in the last round, did he get wrestle-fucked? Did he get Snorlax? Did he get laid on? Sure. But he sprung back up, threw some great strikes. It just sucks like watching about being pretty confident in the result and then, the judges come back with something different. So Paiva won the majority decision. Whatever. I thought Kyler Phillips looked good. really good. Thought he had really tricky stand-up games. Thought he was active. Um, really thought Paiva's only way of winning was, you know, he just maybe dominated, had a little more ring control in that last round. And I think, it'd be nice to like know who the judges were, but I'm sure there's like, regulations against that, right? Because we would all harass them or try and cut deals with them. Like, hey, I'm gonna put $1 million on Corey Sandhagen. If you say he wins, I'll split the winnings with you. Something like that, I'm sure there's like good reasons for why you wouldn't publish that information, but like it seemed like these judges valued whoever won the third round the most, and in the case of TJ Dillashaw and the rest of the fights too, they also liked the fighter that was pushing forward, that was maybe occupying the center of the octagon and having the other guy kind of rotate around him. I mean, I don't know if that's like an aesthetic thing, if they got a judge up there who can't possibly, like know what he's talking about or know what he's doing, but it's just, and it is a long night to like stay focused for, but like you're getting paid, I assume, to be a judge. And like too often you just see these guys on the sideline, like, fucking probably like messaging some showgirls in Vegas or something. It's just ridiculous. It really is, but I'm allowed to be upset because we're all entitled to display and show emotions here, people. So I'll be a little, just maybe this is a little bit negative and taking a dark turn, but I'm just thinking about how the fights played out, and it's just pissing me off more and more. Then in the main card, main event, you had Corey Sandhagen against Dillashaw. So I thought Corey Sandhagen should have won the fight. I thought TJ Dillashaw had an outstanding fight. I thought that fight was really good. But that being said, like the only thing that TJ did better than Sandhagen was maybe, he just kind of leaned on him. And I mean, did Sandhagen make some mistakes? Sure. But I thought Sandhagen, the strikes were very similar. Obviously, the fact that TJ was riding it couldn't even take him down. He was just riding his back the entire match against the fence. Just kneeing him in the legs. I'm sure it hurts and stuff, but it just seemed like the fighter that was throwing the most damage was Sandhagen for sure. It was almost like I thought we saw Sandhagen win a round definitively, and then we saw 4 close rounds. Maybe even Sandhagen won 2. I don't know if he won 2 and Dillashaw came back from 2 down to win 3 straight. It just didn't. I didn't think TJ had like too many moments, with the exception of like his general approach to the fight, which was, his game planning was good. His cardio looked outstanding, but I thought Sandhagen's did too. I'll tell you what, I'm excited to watch both of these guys compete for the belt. it's probably not going to be this year, so next year. I think they both deserve title shots next year. If you're going to give TJ Dillashaw the winner of Peter Yan against Aljo, go for it. But like, I wouldn't really even make Sandhagen's dusted a lot of guys in his division. Granted, he's coming off of Frankie Edgar. But he beat Marlon Moraes, which, year and a half ago, 2 years ago, he was definitely in that title discussion picture. So, I mean, I definitely am a big fan of Sandhagen, and would love to see him have an opportunity to fight for the belt. I think it would be badass if, like, Dillashaw somehow, wins his fight, and then this is the sequel fight is for the belt. I mean, however it works out, it works out. I mean, just because someone wins the bout between Aljo and Jan doesn't mean like the loser they demand a rematch. No, they don't. Like, not at all. Aljo obviously has beat Corey Sandhagen, so that might, be another. That might be a fight you could make if, like, Peter Yan loses. I guess you could put up Sandhagen against the loser of that if it's Aljo or Peter Yan. Like, that could work out really well timing-wise. You could have them fight relatively close to each other, then halfway through the year kind of assess where they're at and have the winners face each other for a belt match. So, a couple prop bets I threw out there. I like the Sandhagen KO at plus 110. I was hesitant to bet on TJ Dillashaw, just didn't know how he would come back after like 2 years off. I did write down here and mention that I thought if he won, it would be via decision. That was plus 600 odds. So if you had TJ Dillashaw, if you had Paiva, if you had Darren Elkins, if you had Macy Barber, if you had Nasruddin Imavov, if you had Mickey Gall, congratulations. Wish I could have threw out some better picks this week, but we'll be back. We'll be back on Friday. We've got Uriah Hall against Jake Strickland. Haven't looked at the card at all. Typically, some other housekeeping information. When I'm like placing a bet, I'm typically referring to DraftKings. Like, I'm in Illinois. DraftKings is legal in Illinois. That's what I'm using to place my bets primarily. Unless it's with like a buddy or something, Who am I? That's me being a judge. I was just texting someone. Sorry, I just got distracted. I'm supposed to pull up DraftKings so we can look at some information. I think just off the top of my head, I think I'm going to have to go with Uriah Hall. I just, has he effed me before? Definitely. But I do think he has looked super good in his latest bouts. I'm not seeing it under quick links. Let me search UFC. Yeah, I'm going to have to do some research. I'm real bad with name and face association, so I'm going to have to do some research. But I'll tell you what, we probably got some new fighters on the card, relatively young fighters, so excited to see whoever's making their debut. I didn't know a ton of the names on here, but I'll do some research, watch some film. Obviously, there's certain guys on here I've definitely watched fight before. Yeah, it's just... Is this in the States or where is it? Sorry, I'm going to check. I don't know if I toggle between screens, if it like shows you my screen here. I would think it would be in the States, right? If they just fought in Vegas this week. Typically, they like to kind of block schedule fights if they're going overseas. Yeah, it's at the UFC Apex. So, another earlier start, which I like. I think Philip Rowe. I mean, not making any jokes, but I think his picture they uploaded in black and white. Oh, yeah, there are some. Colin Anglin, Melsick, Begdarsarian. Sarian? Yeah, I mean, there's some people on here I recognize. Trevin Jones, Ronnie Lawrence, Kai Kamaka. I think Danny Chavez looks familiar. Chris Grutzmacher, Rafa Garcia. I don't know those Melsick or Colin. Nico Montano. I don't know if I've seen you, Ianen, fight before. Obviously, know Uriah and Sean. No Nicholas Stoltz. Munir Lazes? Yeah, I'm going to have to... Not only am I going to have to look at film, but I might have to look up some pronunciations of this. Kung Young Ho Kang? I think I've seen him fight before. And I want to say it was fairly recently. Ryan Benoit, know him. This guy looks familiar. Oh, Jason Witt, Brian Barberena. Yeah, so there's some fighters I know on here, but definitely got to do some research and so I can provide the best possible statistical analysis to my viewers and win you the most money. It's 8:15 p.m. here. I got to do a little more work, unfortunately. So, yeah, I'm not sure if I end the stream here, if it'll get uploaded to my channel. Hopefully it does. As always, definitely appreciate the support. If you could hit the subscribe button, if you could interact with my comment, you could leave comments, like the video, you could dislike it. I'm pretty sure disliking it hurts something algorithmically, but if you want to, I appreciate the the support, the show of support. Like I said, I want to do a live show format every week. I think it'd be fun to have like a live chat going and kind of interact with viewers. gives me something to do Friday night. We can share a few brews digitally. I think this is just for candles. When Tai Tuivasa fights, this is the shoe that I do a shoey out of. But yeah, back to what I was saying. I'll keep a live show format. Kind of make it more like a radio experience or podcast experience where it happens live. It's unedited, unfiltered. Put the kids to sleep. That's the type of content we do here. No, I just occasionally drop a swear word or two, but I would definitely love, any feedback anyone has. If this is something you do or something you're interested in doing, we could even hop on stream together, do a little banter back and forth. I mean, I'm good at taking the contrarian argument just for the sake of presenting the contrarian mode of thought. Like, that's something I feel I'm pretty good at. So even if I don't have 100% conviction in something, I can, I'll definitely be honest, because I think that's shitty, right? If you're not forthright and honest, but I would do so after the fact. And, so if you want to come on, I think I got my email somewhere on my channel, whether it's in this video or on my homepage and about or description or whatever. Feel free to reach out. Otherwise, I hope everyone has a good week. And typically, when I would sign off on Twitch, the only thing I could really think of doing, and it's kind of my gimmick, my thing now, is the Yoel Romero. I see you, boy. Goodbye. I love you. Watch the end of the Luke Rockhold fight versus Yoel Romero. If you got time, just watch the end. Yoel kisses him. That's what I'm doing to you.